Welcome everybody to this week's Leadership Lunch Chat. And today I am all by myself because Jen is on a flight back from an event. And so we still wanted to get on this Friday and just talk about some things that are on our minds from the past few weeks. So one of them is that we were off last week and the week before because of taking some really valued time off. And I think many of you are going through that period of time where it's been really stressful, lots of work, and not necessarily the time that you needed to just relax and reset. And that is so important right now. Over and over, I am talking to so many accounting practices just about staffing and the issues around staffing right now, and everyone just really feeling worn out and needing that time off. And so for many years, there's been all of the different ideas around vacation time and unlimited PTO and so forth. And we can put that out there in the organization, but actually having the time to take off and be able to meet client commitments has been really hard this past year, no matter what industry you're in, but especially in the accounting profession. So I think it's really important to understand that. And we have this staffing issue right now in so many different businesses and industries that we need to step back during this time where we have a bit of a lull to think about capacity planning and how we're going to go about doing that, especially when there are a lot of people considering what they want to be doing with their lives right now, and we cannot control how they feel about it and what might be happening from a personal decision standpoint. So we can't put our head in the sand and think that this is just going to go away and people will just get over it. We need to step back and plan what that means for our business. And what that means for our business is not necessarily people, but technology. And looking at what technology we can utilize in order to help with capacity issues in the business. That we don't, even if we bring people in to replace the people we have, we don't want to stress out the new people either. And so it's very important to think about what tools we can put in place to automate the work as much as possible. And if you haven't stepped back and been looking at technology out there with artificial intelligence, machine learning, where it can input data for you, where you're spending less time in the data, but more time with the client or doing the analysis that you need and so forth, then this is the time to be doing that. Really stepping back and understanding your business processes and what people are doing in the business. So many times what happens is that we think we know what people are doing in our business, but they actually are doing other things in order to get their work done, where they might be duplicating work outside of the systems that we have, or even still diverting to paper when they need to. And maybe we don't even realize the technology we are using is not being used at full capacity and full utilization of what it can actually provide. And so with this time that we have in our practice right now, it's not only important to segregate time for this capacity planning and looking where technology can help with automation, but it's also important to start dedicating time to education and training and planning and the things that you need to do as you're going forward in your business to make sure that people are trained in the tools that we're using. So many times technology was put into place really fast in order to make sure that we could keep the lights on. But now is the time to make sure people are getting the education that they need so that they feel nurtured, they feel like you care about their career, and that they can be most successful utilizing the technology that they have. So if we take this time that we have for the rest, the reset that we need, but also for the planning, the education, and the capacity planning, what will matter is how this is going to affect our teams going back into another busy season, and that we took the time to do this. One of the things that I've seen over and over, especially lately, as I've been helping accounting practices put their business plans together for advisory services and think through all these different issues, is that many people will come and say, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure my team wants to, or I'm not sure we have the time to do it, or I'm not sure this is the right time to do it. And so what happens is we take these moments that we have and we just let them go, because we will put up so many other outside reasons or excuses to not do it right now. We can always find a reason not to do it. But the one thing that I know about accountants is if a new deadline comes, a new requirement comes, a new client comes in our door, we figure out how to make the time to get it done. And so this isn't different with our own business and with our own capacity planning to keep our employees happy, that we want to make sure that we are absolutely trying to help these people improve their lives going forward. So there are no excuses to not do this at this time. It is important that we are actually spending the time right now to do it. So this is the difference between working on our business versus in our business. And too many times we get stuck in the business and we don't put time on our calendar like we would for a client or a customer to work on the business. And if we want to get out of this stress or this hamster wheel of issues that we're having in our business, or capacity issues, or even employee happiness, it is really important that we put the time into it and the investment of time into it to make these changes. So it is a holistic change. It's thinking about, how do we want our culture to feel? What things do we want to do in our culture so that people feel happier? So like I said, we might say we have unlimited PTO, but can people actually take the time off? Really hard to make sure that that is happening. So how would we actually go about monitoring it and helping people to take that time off, even in our busy times, and make that acceptable? How are we empowering people to innovate and make our processes better? And making sure that when people are frustrated or find an issue in their business, that they are empowered to speak up and actually give ideas that would be considered, not ignored. So it doesn't mean we have to implement all the ideas that we get, but are we actually listening to what we're hearing from the people in our business, in our practice, and thinking about, could this work? Which would be a really interesting practice to see if you could start doing that this summer and involve them in this planning process. So looking at our technology, are we duplicating work? Are there places for us to automate? Are we taking the time to make sure that we're fixing the processes going forward so people are not more stressed out and they feel like they're being supported and educated in the ways that they need? So I wanted to get on and just give a few thoughts that have come up, even though Jen wasn't here with me today, and miss Jen a lot in our discussion today. But also to let you know, if you're going to be at AICPA Engage next week, Jen and I will be there as well. And we will be speaking on this topic of generous leadership and the components of generous leadership, which is gratitude, growth, and giving, and what that means as a leader and how we implement that in our leadership capabilities and in our culture, in our businesses, so that people feel nurtured and supported. And even during hard times or stressful times, they can't imagine working anywhere else because of the support that they get from their leadership and their business. And we've had some great guests on the last few months that have been examples of these areas of generosity and leadership. So we're going to share that during our session next week. We speak on Thursday in the morning. And so we'd love to see you there. If not, I believe it's being streamed virtually. So you'll be able to catch that too through the AICPA Engage platform. And also, if you are there next week, we would love to talk to you, chat with you, and also let us know how we can help you on these weekly leadership lunch sessions as well. And I appreciate all of you that have piped in to say hello. And hopefully the things that we've talked about today, that you are also having ways that you're implementing this in your business and finding ways to facilitate that during this time so that you can make things better as you move forward. So Jen and I will be back in a couple weeks. We will not be here next week because we will be in Las Vegas at AICPA Engage. But we will be giving our thoughts about Engage when we come back, and are excited to share that with you then. So have a great weekend and a great week ahead.